tote right here, so when you guys do talk about the tote, you can just
Pull it up.
Yep.
Okay.
If you want to, just a visual input, the orange strip, guys, on the lid is the part that makes it waterproof. So if you just be like, here's the gasket.
Floridians know the cost of hurricane destruction. Last season, we got lucky. But luck doesn't protect your home. Fortunately, Storm Smart has dependable custom hurricane protection products. Hurricane screens, accordion shutters, aluminum roll-down shutters, flood mitigation systems. Because protected beats lucky every time. Be safe, be smart, be Storm Smart.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by Storm Smart. Protect every opening of your home.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Tuesday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. As always, live on the spot. Now, you may have heard this once or twice, but you know, we are the official broadcast home of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the games are literally like a month away. The home opener is October 3rd against the Caps, and tickets are on sale for all the games, but if you can't make the games, You can watch it at home. You don't need cable, which you may be watching on cable right now. But remember, the spot is also on OTA, which if you don't know what that means, I never did. I'd ask. Over the air. So you know on your TV, we'll do a little recap here. So you got your little remote thing, right? And you can scan, if you put your TV on antenna instead of cable, and you scan, it'll scan all the channels that are out there just floating around. And one of them is this channel right now, the spot, at 66.1. And for free, you can watch almost all the Tampa Bay Lightning games. So you don't have to pay for a subscription service. You can watch it. That's not all the games, but it's most of them. And again, that's coming up shortly. I mean, look, we got football. College football is coming up like this week. The NFL is coming up in a week or two. Fantasy football. This is the best time of the year because we got all the sports. The only downside of this time of the year, I think we all know, hurricane season starts to peak. And historically, the peak of hurricane season is around like September 10th-ish. And right now, things are real, you know, look, I am not a superstitious guy. So every time I'm about to use the word quiet, I feel like there's some people out there yelling, "Don't say it, Dennis," because I know healthcare workers, if you say the word quiet, everything breaks loose. But I am not superstitious, so I will say the word quiet, and it has been extremely quiet. And we'll go one step further. I'm going to jump in and show you the updated Climate Prediction Center map right here. And this is through September the 15th. Now, the one thing I want you to see, and we've been talking about this for over and over, months and months and months. Look at the Caribbean. This is through September 8th. Look how dry the air is in the Caribbean. And then the following week, through September 15th, look at that main development region in the Caribbean. There ain't nothing getting past there. There's just not, because the air is super dry. So if there were to be any development, it would have to be off to the north. And then, you know, most of the time they either curve or sometimes they go a little bit more to the south. Well, I say that because when you look at some of the models out there, so here is the latest European ensemble model, and look at what we have here. This is what could be Dolly, ironically enough. I mean, what are the odds of that? If you didn't hear, Dolly Parton passed away this evening, or this afternoon. Actually, it was this morning. It was noted this afternoon. And go figure, the first named storm that we're going to see is Dolly. But if you look at this, ultimately, the majority of these go like this, or go like this, or go like this, and they just kind of curve. You got one or two that try to bring it in another area entirely, but the odds of that are rather low. However, if you take a look at the European, that's showing this, but I want to call up a different map. I want to call up the Deep Earth map. And if you're familiar, the Google Deep Earth has done, or DeepMind rather, has done a really decent job the last year or two when it comes to tropical development. Look at what the DeepMind is showing with its ensemble members. Now again, the majority of these bring it off to this. They curve it away. But if you don't, if you try to keep it closer to the straits, and even one or two try to get into the Caribbean, but then they get annihilated because there's all that shear going on. So ultimately, what does that mean for us? Look, I mean, you guys know me. I'll talk about the possibilities, but I'm not afraid of going out on that proverbial limb, considering 6 months ago I said we were not going to have a drought by December or January because we were going to have a ton of rain in December, January, February, March, and April, which is about an 11-month forecast. So getting the weather right 11 hours can be challenging, but I went on that 11-month forecast, and I think it's right on the money. I mean, I'm telling you, once we hit December and January and February, El Nino is going to, and I know you've heard it, the whole super El Nino nonsense, or the Godzilla El Nino. Look, it's just an El Nino that's stronger than it's been before, but the impacts are still the same. Wet across the southeast, you get an occasional strong or severe storm, and we get that in the wintertime anyway. Instead of maybe 2 or 3 squall lines that pose severe threats, maybe there'll be 4 or 5. But the good news out of all that is we are going to, and I'll die on this hill if I have to, we are going to get a lot of rain coming up in December, January, February, March, and April, and we will no longer be talking about a drought. However, right now, we are not. And I'll tell you, Jason Adams is, we were talking about this earlier today. Jason Adams, our weekend meteorologist. It's kind of an interesting conversation because how many years have y'all lived here? I mean, folks watching on TV, maybe you're newer to the area. If you're watching on social, I mean, our group's been around for, heck, 20 years or so. But how many years have we always said, hey, our classic Florida weather is late day storms? That's when we get most of our rain, late day storms, right? That is not the way it's been over the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, I know a lot of y'all have noticed it. I mean, it used to be old timers, oh, I could set my watch to the 4 o'clock storms, and it would be right more often than not. That is just not where we are more often than not. The reason we are in a drought is because we've had more westerly winds for the last several years, and our rainy season has not been all that rainy. Now, is that a sign of things to come? Is that a short-term anomaly? Don't know. But it's hard to miss it because we just have not been seeing those really classic late-day storms for several years now. So that is an interesting topic of conversation. And I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind, there are some people out there, a heck of a lot smarter than me, that are going to go on and do their thesis on, are these changes in Florida weather patterns due to climate change? It's an interesting conversation. I don't have the answer. Look, you guys know my philosophy on climate change. I have enough time getting the weather right 7 days in advance. I ain't going to try 7 years or 15 or 70 years in advance. So I stay in my lane. But it is an interesting conversation. And the rain that we had across the area today, hit or miss, nothing unusual about that. I live in Palm Harbor, and we got a ton of rain this morning, rain for several hours. My daughter caught the bus, and she's texting me on the way in on the bus saying, Dad, my feet are soaked. I'm soaked. I'm like, well, you know, you could have stayed in the car longer, but she wanted to wait in the bus line to get first in line. You know what? Life decisions. I'm like, hey, got to take the good with the bad. Now that rain is pushed inland and it's moved over to the east side of the state. A couple of lingering showers in Highlands County. Here's the rainfall totals. I mean, you look at Manatee County, you got one area that got some decent rain, but otherwise, Pinellas County, closer to the coast, anywhere from an inch or two, and that was really no thunderstorms. That was just some tropical downpours today. Other areas, not a drop. Pasco County, kind of a similar setup right along the vets, and then up toward Hernando and Citrus County. So yeah, there were some folks that got a lot of rain, other folks not so much. Beth and Carolwood, how you doing? Thanks, Jules, for the reminder. Appreciate it. Bridget, watching from New York. Yeah, Eric, I mean, it could be a weather pattern shift. We'll see. Temperatures right now upper 80s to around 90. Highs today about where they should be, give or take a degree or two. Looking out over Ray J right now, skies are mostly sunny, 88 degrees. Dew point not bad, actually, in the lower 70s. Last week we had dew points upper 70s when we had all those heat advisories. The high today, 1 degree below average. The morning low dropped down to 80. West to east flow continues. I think we see it again tomorrow. So that means there will be a few showers tomorrow morning along the coast. You can kind of see them. And then everything pushes inland later in the day. By late Thursday, and then the East Coast gets the heaviest rain at night. So it's a 180 of what we considered that classic summertime pattern. Well, by Thursday into Friday, the winds are going to shift, and we are back to a southeast wind. Now, that makes it much easier to plan your day. Because, you know, if you get this westerly onshore flow, you can get rain in the morning, get rain in the afternoon. It makes it a bear to try to figure out doing stuff outdoors because you don't know if it's going to rain. You get this east-southeast wind, we're locked into sunny all morning, we're locked into sunny all afternoon. 4 or 5 o'clock, the storms are going to pop. So from Friday through the weekend, we are back to that kind of a pattern. And that means you can plan your mornings, you can plan your early afternoons, and then watch out for those storms. And boy, again, unfortunately, just a tragic situation happened over on the East Coast a couple days ago. A mom and her 2-year-old died from a lightning strike. I'll say this again, if you hear thunder, even if it's blue skies overhead, if you hear thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. And as Floridians, we all know that. It's just not anything to mess with. And there will be some of those strong storms coming up this weekend. In the tropics, there is that pattern I talked about. Hurricane season, we're coming up on the peak in the month of August. The majority of the storms that develop take this kind of a track, right? Well, the area in red, and by the way, let me check real quick because the new numbers come out from the Hurricane Center as we speak. Let's go ahead and check that out and see if the update is out yet. It is, and it is now 70%. So I will have to update that graphic for the 11. No, actually, it's the same. I take that back. It was 70, unless Greg went in and changed it himself. Maybe he did. But regardless, we are at 70% likelihood this develops over the next couple of days. Whether it actually turns into a named storm, we will have to see. But as we just covered a couple of minutes ago, the overwhelming majority of the time, these storms curve eventually away from the United States with this kind of a pattern. It's not always. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you this will, but the odds are certainly in that favor. But we are now coming up on the historical peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Are you prepared? Have you organized your life and your hurricane kits the way you're supposed to? I, for one, absolutely not. I'm the least organized person out there, so I'm looking forward to our next guest because they swear they are going to be able to set me on the path of righteousness and be able to actually organize my life better, including hurricane kits. So they say. We'll be back in 90 seconds with that as Dennis Phillips Live continues. Okay, we are in a break. You guys ready? Okay, so we are still live streaming, so let me take this graphic. And Derek, can you take camera, whatever camera that is? And there we go. Oh, we got a double box. So we have, and because we're on streaming now as opposed to TV, I will say this. This is Jamie and Hillary from Sorted and Styled. And I asked them at first, I said, sorted or sorted? And Jamie's like, yeah, well, maybe I skew a little bit more toward the sorted side. Had to say it, had to share that. but just joking. But welcome, ladies. We're back to broadcast in 40 seconds. So, guys, if you have any questions, and we're going to talk a little bit about how they start. They're a local business, lived in the Bay Area for nearly 2 decades, and started their business during COVID. Kind of an interesting story. And they're going to tell us a little bit about how we can organize our hurricane kits, how we can organize things that we need to be prepped for in case a storm comes, and talk a little bit about how they can help you do it as well. Yes?
Yes. That's right.
I'm on the right track there?
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. Yep. And by the way, I love the matching hoodies and the
thank you. We're going cash for you today.
Yeah, the hoodies are for you.
But it's funny because, we're on in a second. We're back.
Okay.
Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. We're just sitting here having a conversation. This is Jamie and Hillary from Sorted and Styled, and that is a local business. You guys live locally, right?
Yes.
And we were talking a couple minutes ago. They got their hoodies on, not a rule number 7, but they got their own for their business. So it is very awesome. And it is funny because as I walked in, they looked at me, they're like, "You're in socks." I'm like, "Yeah, I am in socks." And I see? And the fact that I can still do that is pretty impressive. But regardless, we talked about that story because during COVID, when there were no managers around, I just stopped wearing shoes and started walking around in my socks, and it kind of stuck. And your business actually kind of started during COVID as well. Tell us a little bit about how that started.
Yeah, that's right. You want me to take the lead on this one?
Go ahead.
Okay. When COVID hit, I actually owned my own business. It was called Webby Dance Company. It was a mobile dance company. We would go into preschools and elementary schools, and we would teach dance classes in schools. Well, when COVID hit, those schools shut down, and I was kind of out of work. And I have my good friend Jamie. I would see her every week, of course, in a mask, and she was actually coming to tutor my son because your background is
teaching.
Yep, in teaching. So I actually kind of moved during that time, and she saw how I organized my home during the move. She saw how I decorated my home, and she was always like, "This looks pretty good, right?"
You should definitely do this for a living.
Yeah, so she
there's some people I think who are just naturally good at that kind of stuff, and there's other people who are naturally horrible at that, and that would be me. So I could see how that could be beneficial. You know, if it's in your blood, as they say, you're just going to be better at it. But people like me need help. So anyway, continue. I was just
no,
talking.
That's okay. That's why you have us, right? And Jamie has that teacher brain. So like you said, she's kind of born with that organization brain. She got a phone call from a friend who needed a little help renovating and organizing her toy room, and she's like, "Let's go do this together."
Absolutely.
So we did.
And we loved it, and we were like, wow, this is really fun, and we're kind of good at this. So within a week, we sat down, had coffee, and a logo, business, and here we are.
Website, all of it.
It's awesome, and we love local businesses. I mean, on DPO, we're always talking local businesses because in my opinion, that's how local news stays relevant, and that's how local businesses thrive. People supporting local, whether it's restaurants, whether it's businesses. I mean, the big stuff is out there, and it's helpful and it's convenient, but we like to really support the local businesses. So, and how does this relate to hurricane season? And I guess my question is, by being so good at organizing, I would think that also includes hurricane kits as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yep.
You definitely have to be ready and organized, and we're going to give you some tips. The very first one is to prep before the prep. So before the hurricane prep, before you say, Dennis, like, hey, it's time to get those kits out, right? We want to start before that. Go through room by room, organize the home, declutter, get rid of all those things, right? So we're going to recommend that you go each room and take a box and say, okay, am I going to donate? Am I going to keep it? Or am I going to trash it? And sort out all those things, make room in the closets, declutter the house, and just get totally organized. We're also going to recommend that you designate that one spot. We're going to call it like a hurricane hub, right? That's the spot in the house where you bring your batteries, your photos, your wedding dress, you know, all those sentimental items that can't be replaced, because the last thing you want to do is like run from room to room to room, trying to find those things. Do I have batteries? Do I have flashlights? Where are those photos? Where is all those items? So you have one spot designated for all your hurricane supplies in that closet.
How far in advance do you recommend going through this process? I mean, is this something you do just a week when a storm's coming, or do you want to do it earlier in the season?
You can do it all year long.
Oh, I will never do it all year round.
Get started.
That requires
Come on.
far too much effort.
That's a great New Year's resolution. A lot of people come to us in January, right? Because they want to start getting their home organized. They're overwhelmed after the holidays. And that's a great time to start, really, because it's fresh start. And what we do is we just go through the home with them, basically hold their hand and make sure that we are editing down items. You don't want to have too much clutter stuff in your life. The weight of that on your mental health is a lot. And once you get to hurricane season, if you have edited and you've done your job and you've cleansed your home and everything has a home, it's way easier to respond to an emergency or an evacuation when your life is organized.
Well, that's kind of like the whole premise of rule number 7. You don't freak out. I mean, how are you going to make a decision that's going to protect your family and keep the livelihood of your family safe if you're freaking out? So, I mean, it really is all about preparation. But I'm curious, have you guys, with any of our previous storms, with Helene or Milton or even Irma, did you do any evacuations? Did you have to go through that process?
Yes, 100%. I definitely did a few times. I'm a Shore Acres resident, so.
Oh, boy, yeah.
I know, I knew you were going to say that. So having all of these systems in place, thank God I was organized, I'll tell you that much, because when that storm hit and the cleanup was brutal. And so I didn't have so much stuff to throw away, you know, not like others, not like 45 years worth of things that I didn't need in the house, honestly. Made it so much easier.
Now, what do you all have in front of you? What are some of the items there?
So, do you want to start with the toolbox?
Sure, we can start with this is our hunker down kit, right? This is like, okay, it's go time, it's coming, and maybe you've made the decision to stay in your home. You're thinking, okay, I think it's gonna be safe for us. Let's just stay in the home. I don't wanna be on the roads. And we love this because we love the idea of a toolbox, right? Instead of just like a big clear bin where you throw everything in. We love we're organizers, so everything has to be compartmentalized. But we love all of these little compartments, and you can see they're modular and they're customizable. So this is kind of like the top layer of the toolbox, and it has 2 stories here. And you put everything in here that you need, like household items. We have medicine, I don't know if you can see it, but medicine here up top. We have, of course, bug spray and sunscreen and your hand sanitizer, and of course, 800 batteries or however many you need. But everything little goes here. Everything has a home. So that's super important when you're organizing. Everything has a place. You can see it. This is great because it's clear, so you're not rifling through your belongings.
Oh, that's
so
a good idea.
We love this. And then the second part of the toolbox is this actually belongs to this. They live together, but it's the deeper part. So that is, we keep our
The larger items in
Yep.
there. We've got a snackle box that's got first aid in it. We've got the radio in case you lose power. We can still tune into 66.1.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
Some food, the jet boil so you can get hot food if you need to. Some propane, extra batteries, any of those larger, bulkier items. And it snaps together. You can get as many pieces as you need. It lives in the garage. So we love this as a hunker down organizational kit.
Yeah, I saw that toolkit as the toolbox, and it did remind me of my daughter's snackle box before softball tournaments because, you look at those, and those can be really, really helpful. And I never thought about it for a hurricane kit, but you're right, having the plastic top, you can see what you're looking at as opposed to rummaging through everything, and then and it's no longer organized. So interesting. Hey, we got to hit a break. We're back in 90 seconds as DPL continues. That was an 11-minute segment. Holy cow, it flies. It does, it so flies. Okay, we are still good. So this one, we're back at 53, so we have it's got to be about a 2-minute segment. So is there something that you want to?
Show this?
Yeah, whatever you want to do for the last.
Storage.
Sure.
Fireproof, all your documents in one spot?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
This is important. Okay.
We'll do that coming out as well. Shore Acres. Yeah, Dr. Beach Gem.
Yeah, we're friends with her. We organized her.
Oh, you do? Really?
That's kind of how we got the idea to get in touch with you because we were like, oh, kind of makes sense. Hurricane and organization go hand in hand.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's
And
great.
I had
She's
her.
my neighbor.
Oh, I mean, I knew she lived there. We had her on, I don't know, about a month or two ago.
Yeah, we saw it.
And, boy, she's got a gazillion followers on
I
TikTok.
know.
It's crazy.
She's
And
famous.
she's just so relatable. I mean, she's just an average
So
person.
down to earth.
Well, she's not average person, she's brilliant, a doctor. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When she talks to you, you just feel like you're just talking to her buddy.
Yeah,
Which
for
is
sure.
what you got to do if you're going to be successful in social, that's for sure. All right, so we're coming back at about 45. We got to be out by 50, at 55 at the latest, because that'll give us 2 minutes, and we'll have 1 minute for the last segment. All right, back in 5, 4, 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live here with Jamie and Hillary from Sorted and Styled Local Business. And we're talking about how to prepare the best hurricane kit. And you showed us how we had the smaller things, but for some of the larger things, you've got that taken care of as well, yes?
Yes, absolutely. That's where the bottom of that toolbox, that's where we put those bulky things. But we also need to talk about file storage, right?
Yes.
Because one of the most important things when you're thinking about evacuating is taking those important papers with you. So you don't want to be running around the home looking in your file boxes. That is why we love this portable fireproof and waterproof storage.
Look at all these
Yep.
pockets in here. So this is where I talked about earlier being organized, keeping all of your documents in that one cabinet or area, your passports, you've got your money, everything is all stocked in here, insurance cards, extra set of keys, all your documents are here, emergency contacts we keep in here. This is definitely necessary. So then you have this like file storage. This is all birth certificates organized, and you can see here medical records, things that you cannot be without during a storm, all those flood documents, declaration pages, all of the things that you need in a hurry, they're all in one spot. And there's extra storage underneath if you need to throw anything in there. But this is essential for grab and go. You've got to evacuate. You're not digging around the house looking for all your documents. It's already in one place in the home, and it even has a lock.
And the idea is to keep this, let's get this organized now. How long will this take us to do? Maybe like an hour at most. And we have it ready to go. And then those documents live in this container all year round. Now you want to maybe keep your tax information from 2016 in that old file in your closet, but this is something that has the essentials in it for grab and go.
Awesome. And where do you get those? Is that just like an Amazon item or?
It's Amazon, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Ladies, thank you very much. The time flew. Great information. I want to get one of those because that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I think
what
we
is that
have-
called? What is
We
that?
have the links too on
have
our website.
Okay.
Well, it's called the Golf from
not
China.
But we really like it. This
I'll
is
look
one of
for the
our
link.
favorites.
Hey, thanks again for stopping by. Jamie and Hillary from Sorted and Styled. We'll be back in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
you.
great. Thank you.
We literally have like 30 seconds out before the show's over. We cut it as tight as we possibly
I'm
could.
sorry. We
No, it's
we tend to ramble
It was good.
sometimes.
No, well, when we got closer, if we got to 55, I was going to kind of give you a wrap, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if you knew what that meant. So
Yeah,
I'm just like,
sure,
no, it was
sure.
perfect. It was absolutely
Great.
perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
thank
love
you.
that. That is a really cool idea.
This is a cool product.
Yeah, especially being waterproof and fireproof and everything else.
Yep.
I mean, and because I have nothing like that. Like I said, I'm the most disorganized
They come
person in the
organize
world.
you.
Yes.
Like, and like, how would I find that on Amazon?
On our storefront.
It's on your storefront.
Yeah.
So you guys are like sellers, and then you get a little cut of the.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's nothing wrong with that. Okay. All right, we're good. We're clear, guys. I got like 30 seconds to come out and finish up shop. So here, let me go to the 7-day. All right. He'll come out. I think they'll come out and get your mics. 27. I have a minute. No, actually, I got a minute 15. That's okay. All right. Let's do 7-day. Okay. There's very well organized ladies. Now, Harry, and you got to watch the whole show. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. If you missed the first 10 minutes of the show, we talked about the tropics, we talked about hurricanes. Someone had commented that they wanted to know about hurricanes. If you go into a movie and you arrive in the movie 20 minutes late and you miss the first 15 minutes of the movie, are you going to complain? Are you going to bang on the window to the movie guy and say, "Hey, restart the movie"? Or maybe you'll get there on time next time. Just saying. Anyway, this does repeat. So once the show stops on social media, it does repeat. So we could talk more about the tropics, which we did, but you see the 7-day right now. Tomorrow morning, we do have some showers that start earlier on in the morning again, right along the coast, okay? And then moving inland later on in the day. I do think the winds are going to turn around by Friday, giving us a better chance of more late day, early evening storms. And quickly, again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, there's the latest from the Hurricane Center. Still a 70% likelihood this develops, but as I also showed you, odds are this is eventually going to curve away from the U.S. It is not 100%, but most of the models do bring eventually a curve away from the U.S., but we will update it every day as always because that is what we do. Guys, if you're watching on the spot and streaming, thank you very much. I'm off tomorrow. Allie is in for me tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday. We have guests set up for the next 3 weeks. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great night, and we'll see you on the next edition of DPL. And we are in a break. So, oh, it's my pleasure, guys. Thank you very much. So, no, I didn't. Oh, here, let me come up and do a quick selfie. We're still on. Guys, I'll be back in just a second. Okay. Where do you want to do, where do you want us?
Anywhere. Maybe in front of this would be great.
Okay, in front of DPL? Okay. All right.
You want to get, here, you get in the middle.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Next to sorted in style.
Yeah.
Okay, no, sorry, I just missed out heard you.
Run, Ricky.
Yeah.
Okay. Put your arm behind me like you let me.
You want some horizontal as well?
Sure.
Cool, just for some safety there, of course. Boom, boom, boom. Something like
You're nailing it.
that. Boom.
Nice. You called out my sister from New York.
Who was that?
You said, Bridget from New York. That was my sister.
Oh, that was your sister watching? Oh, that's funny.
They are obsessed.
Well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. Okay, so anyway, guys, here let's go ahead and take some of these graphics again real quick. So this is the rainfall totals. I'll tell you, the rainfall numbers are looking a little bit better. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think, south of I-4 is going to be the better rain chances, but it does look as though, when you see something like this, that's kind of like a stalled front. And, quite often, you can see low pressure develop along a stalled out front. And we'll see, because some of the models are showing just that. Matter of fact, here, let's go ahead and look at it. We showed you this earlier. So that's a recurring theme. We showed it earlier. It does. You guys know me. I'm not going to let a comment slide. Oh, how come you're not talking about hurricanes? Oh, I did. Get here on time next time, and then we'll have no problems. Or watch the replay. But you know me. I'm just not going to let it slide. That's just not the way I am. All right, so let's go back. Here's a look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now notice what happens. You see, you get your system down south, right? Whether that's Dolly or not, we'll just have to see. And then the GFS does curve it out to sea, as you would expect. The majority of them are. It actually merges with another system. See that? And then goes off to the northeast, all right? The Euro, kind of the same thing. The Euro just almost kills it entirely. In fact, it does. There's so much shear out there going on with El Nino that it's really, it's great news for cruisers. I mean, great news for cruisers because there is just no way anything in the near future will a tropical system be able to make it through all that dry air and shear in the Caribbean. So those routes from Miami down to Puerto Rico and St. Thomas and St. Michael's and all of those, you know, they're just looking really, really good. And this takes us to the middle of September, right? In terms of development, let's go back and look at Tropical Atlantic. So you've got, you know, so there's that development of what could be Dolly, and then it runs into the shear, and look at what, it just poof, just gone. Just gone, right? And then another wave comes off of Africa right there. I mean, so here's the thing. You will get waves. You will get wave after wave coming off of Africa because El Nino doesn't really have much of an impact on that. The way that the cycle works is you get areas of waves of low pressure or just areas of thunderstorms coming off of Africa. One after another, the wave train, we often call it. That will happen through September. And then October, we usually turn our attention more towards the Northern Caribbean or the Gulf, stalled out front. But these waves will come off, right? And when they do, eventually, there's the potential for development, like you see right here, you know, right there. But what happens in an El Nino is that the upper level winds are such that the shear is so strong that whatever does develop, the majority of the time, it just rips it apart. Now, if it goes into the Caribbean, it really gets shredded. There have been many times in an El Nino year where we did not have a single named storm move into the Caribbean. It's that difficult for things to get going. But if it's just north of the islands, north of Puerto Rico, north of the Virgin Islands, north of the Lesser Antilles, then there's a window of opportunity that it could develop. But more often than not, not always, but more often than not, those curve away from the coastline, the U.S. coastline. So it's really got to, in a sense, during an El Nino, it really has to thread a needle to be able to make it north of the shear, south of the high that'll curve it away to cause something to move into the Straits or into the southeastern U.S. or into the Gulf. And right now, we're not showing anything of that nature, even remotely close. Terry, how you doing? Have not seen you in a while. So thank you for the birthday wishes, people. Very kind. And watching from Gainesville. Nice to see you, Joni. My son is now up. Cruz Mike is in the house, too. Got all these, oh boy, look at all these birthday wishes. Holy cow. Michael, I actually saw that tornado. I did not see your link, but I did see Dover got one. I did. Boy, yeah, look at all these. Holy cow. It's a lot of nice comments. So, all right, guys, you know what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go eat my soup because that's, so for a period of time, I was doing keto, and I literally, I ate a grilled cheese on low-carb bread every night for 6 months. That was my dinner. And I don't get tired of eating food, of a certain food. I'll eat the same food every night for literally months on end. And I'm in that with a soup mode right now. So I've been eating broccoli and cheddar, the Panera broccoli and cheddar stuff that you get when it's BOGO at Publix, sometimes even better. I've been eating that like every night because it appeals to me. And then at some point, I'm like, all right, that's enough, and time to go off on something else. So, all right, so anyway, thank you, JB, appreciate it. Very kind. Dunedin's in the house with Lisa. Nice to see you, Lisa. So, Allie will be in tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday. We literally have guests every night for like the next 3 weeks. So that's very exciting. You know, and some of the guests, local businesses, some of them food, you know, the food festivals and whatnot. You know, we try to keep it going with a lot of local people because that's what this show is. It's all local. So you guys have a great night, and thanks for stopping by as always. I will see you Thursday. Allie will be in tomorrow, but I'll be back Thursday on the next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.